Whether via our 24/7 satellite feed, online streaming audio, or our video feeds. LRN.FM's content is available in multiple ways, but what if all you have is your phone and no data connection? You can call our listen line at 360-398-4482. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 360-398-4482. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. chat.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hi, what's going on, everyone? No, it's okay. So these things happen. All right, what's going on, everyone? That's all the intro I'm going to give. Mandate for forming a new government expires on Wednesday. If Benet announces he's joining the changed government, Lapid wants to sign all coalition agreements by Wednesday, notifying Israeli President Reuven Rivlin. It's always weird, because a lot of places they have like a prime minister and they also have a president. Like, I don't know, I find that I guess like in the United States with the prime minister, I guess you have a prime minister would be the Speaker of the House then. This gives Netanyahu another week to try and sabotage the new government and prevent Lapid and Benet from mastering the majority they need. Yeah, so I wonder if the Gaza war was actually stirred up by Netanyahu, because I've said, there's the theory that Hamas is actually controlled opposition, that Hamas is run by Mossad to be, the foil, the boogeyman, right? To be like the Emmanuel Goldstein of Israeli society. I mean, under the Likud Israel. Some people say that Netanyahu he's like the heir to the Hasmonean dynasty or some shit, and that he lives in King Solomon's temple. I was looking for inexpensive. Damn, yeah. No, I was looking for inexpensive vodka. What? No, I just got distracted. Yeah. So I decided to I'm sorry, I'm talking about like nothing for the first like half hour of a show, but I decided I wanted to get inexpensive vodka for cooking. Right. Like I've been using wine a lot in my cooking. I was cooking some tacos, and I looked at the packet of of the taco mix, and it said you have to you have to cook the ground beef, and then you have to put the taco mix in with water, right? And then cook that off. And so I had a box of boxed wine. And actually, I'm sorry, let me pull up the chat right now. I pull out the boxed wine, and I replace the water with a wine. And damn, those are some pretty good tacos. But fell asleep like right afterwards. So all right, little cooking cooking. What's the word? It's been one heck of a time here in Keene. Speaking of, oh yeah, so I'm at the liquor store, and I want to get inexpensive vanilla vodka, right? I'm thinking like I was looking at the like 750 milliliter bottles, but I think I probably should. I mean, I probably should have just gotten a like a triple distilled bottom back bottom shelf like handle for like $5. I remember like the worst liquor I ever bought was it was a handle of Taka gin for like it was like $6, like $5.99, and it was just so fucking rancid. Not even Cody wanted to drink it. But here you go. Why the hot new alcohol trend is cutting back or even quitting. A recent study by the American Psychological Association reported that nearly a quarter of adults were drinking more to manage stress during the pandemic. That's very good. For Liz Mantel, the wake-up call came when she lost her job last September. She had worked for years as a client manager in advertising, in an industry where she said boozing is a prerequisite for the job. Oh, yeah. Just like talk radio and journalism. Oh, actually, pretty much every fucking, profession. Because I have people in STEM. I know people who are in STEM who talk about like, oh, drinking is like king there. I'm like, gee, maybe it's a societal thing and not just a, like it's just an excuse people give. Although I wonder if Rush Limbaugh ever did. I mean, he did Oxycontin, but I wonder if he ever did cocaine. Especially since he lived in Florida. Agencies have bars in the office. Whoa, what profession is this again? And you're always entertaining clients, said the 30-year-old from Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Before the pandemic, every day included alcohol of some kind for the job, for dating, for friends. My dad said like he worked as an accountant at a coal mine in West Virginia back in like the 70s. And he said that they would, at their lunch break, everyone would be allowed to go to the bar down the street, and they had a 2-drink limit. But it was like an unspoken thing. So like, just, and it doesn't matter what kind of drink, right? It could be, for like 2 beers, 2 mixed drinks, two, alcohol straight up, but it was always 2. And apparently today you can't get away with that. Then she lost her job because of a pandemic. Okay, I mean, the way they phrased that earlier, it sounded like she lost her job because she's an alcoholic. Then she lost her job because of a pandemic. Her romantic relationship came to an end, and suddenly she wasn't spending boozy nights out with her friends and colleagues anymore. Well, see, this is why you save drinking alcohol for when you're at rock bottom, right? Instead of like drinking when you're happy and normal, and then... Drinking when you're happy and normal, and then everything goes to shit, and you're a drunk on top of that, right? Instead of everything goes to shit, and then you decide to drink, to numb the pain. Like, I don't know. I think it's a pretty fucked up thing when someone someone. Well, no, I guess it's sort of also I guess it's just fucked up to drink alcohol in copious amounts anyways. I'm just saying it's as an excuse is no excuse. It started as a 30-day break from alcohol, and that's now lasted 6 months. But now the weather is warming up, and people are getting vaccinated. She didn't want to give up a good time. Mantel is one of countless sober curious New Yorkers fueling the post-pandemic zero-proof movement. An explosion of booze-free drinks, bottle shops, and bars putting a chic spin on teetotaling. This sounds so cringe. This is terrible. A recent study by the American Psychological Association reported that nearly a quarter of adults are drinking more to manage stress during the pandemic. But for some, drinking has only exacerbated their physical and mental health problems. Well, like Cantwell, Cantwell hasn't had any alcohol since the pandemic started. Many, like Mantell, realized that they were overdoing it. People re-examined a lot of things in their life over the past year, including how much they drank alcohol, said Tanis, who opened the booze-free pub Getaway Bar by Greenpoint. In 2019, it turned into a coffee shop and alcohol-free general store during the pandemic, and Fonz plans the bars to return sometime in the spring. A non-alcoholic bar. Gee, you mean like a restaurant? I heard somebody put it this way. COVID wouldn't make you an alcoholic, but if you had a drinking problem, COVID would let you know. Oh my God. Then the article mentions Chrissy Teigen. This should be great. All right, more coming up.
On March 16th of this year, a joint government task force raided the New Hampshire Bitcoin Embassy, the Mighty Moose Mart, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Andy and Renee Spinella, Colleen Fordham, a grandmother, and perhaps most relevant, the studios of Free Talk Live. The Crypto Six were arrested, most were released, but Rich Paul, also known as Nobody, and Ian Freeman both remain in custody. We've been in contact with attorneys that say no crime even appears to have been committed, but that didn't stop the Joint Thug Task Force from ripping out wires from the back of our broadcast stacks, taking Free Talk Live off the air, violating our and your First Amendment rights. You can go to thecrypto6.com and donate to fight against these charges, but as importantly, contact media and tell them about this outrage. This case is likely to set precedent for the use of cryptocurrency well into the future. Help our fight for liberty and financial freedom at thecrypto6.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
According to attendees of a karaoke night at Charlie's Bar and Grill, a man 30 seconds into singing Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror better get his act together and get it together fast.
He up from the get-go, coming in late on that first line, singing totally off-key. He needs to shape up and get his head in the game pronto.
Honestly, he needs to get serious right now or get the f*** off the stage. I mean, what does he think this is? Living on a prayer?
Claiming that this is turning into a train wreck, eyewitnesses say they are embarrassed for the man who has missed several key words despite staring at the prompter the entire time.
You know, he could hit every last note for the remainder of the song, and I still don't know if that would be enough to turn this thing around.
Man in the Mirror is the big leagues, so you better show up with your A game.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. All right, so we're set up here for anyone. So I'm okay. All right, yeah, we're set up. I'm going to send the link in the QA group soon. Calls are working. 603-283-6160. If you want to call in about anything on your mind, you can feel free to call in. Censorship free. That's 603-283-6160. And so, I was actually going to dump this article and go on to something else because I think it, got sort of a gist of it, right? People are all getting high off their own farts, stopping drinking alcohol. And then I see that they quote Chrissy Teigen. And I'm like, oh boy, this is great. And this is a FoxNews.com article, of course. Even Chrissy Teigen announced her new sobriety in December, fueled by reading the book Quit Like a Woman, the radical choice to not drink in a culture obsessed with alcohol. Wow, man, these titles. By New Yorker Holly Whitaker. Oh, I was done with making an ass of myself in front of people. Yeah, now you do it on Twitter. I'm still embarrassed, tired of day drinking and feeling like shit by 6, not being able to sleep. Yeah, well, that's called menopause, Teigen said of her decision. Meanwhile, some New Yorkers found themselves drinking less since they weren't going out and not missing it. Well, and that means that they use alcohol as like a social lubricant. The pandemic became an opportunity to explore sobriety because there was no social pressure to drink, said Brooklynite Julia Bainbridge. Well, although I wonder how much like drinking, how much social pressure does have to do with drinking, like. Because I like a lot of people I knew, they wanted to go to college just to drink, right? They wanted to go. I remember I asked this guy, I said, so back when I actually cared about it, I was in like 7th grade. I think I toured my first college when I was in 7th grade, right? My parents are those kinds of parents. And I was all like proud of myself. And so I asked this kid, so what college are you thinking of going to? Because I had toured McGill and Concordia, which are very nice schools up in Canada. And, funny enough, I probably could have gotten in. I mean, I definitely had the grades to get in. And it was because I'm a Canadian citizen, although not a Quebec citizen, I would have gotten much cheaper tuition, about the same cost as keg stand. So I would have gotten like a 100-fold better education for the same exact price. But I would have had to pay, a lot more money in like food and taxes and stuff living in a province. But still, I mean, it would have evened out. I would have lived with my grandparents or whatever, I've been thinking about like, where my life could have been had I decided to do something else. Like I was thinking I probably would have made a good stuntman. I wanted to get in like stunt work and stuff because my knowledge of, or my base, non-retarded handling of firearms. Oh, the studio cam is back. Very cool on LRN.FM. Awesome. I'll share that now. Want to be a stuntman. And the thing is too, I could also act and, I have, the Nordic Aryan, look. So that would have been fucking awesome. Here we go. All right. Live on LRN.FM, taking calls, 603-283-6160. All right, we're here. We're going to make through it, everyone. Yeah, I've been so busy this week. Like, I do feel bad for missing Friday's show, but I was just like, and the change in the weather, too. I mean, I do think the humidity is fucking with my health. It's like even right now, like actually probably it's the hat, but gosh, Yeah, I miss doing the show from my basement. Anyway, so as with many pandemic trends, at-home workout equipment, stylish casual wear. So, I mean, leave it to Americans to literally be forced by the government to stay in their homes in order for them to start working out at home. The booze-free boom has created business opportunities. Brooklyn Brewery introduced a pair of non-alcoholic beers, Special Effects IPA and Hoppy Amber, which sound disgusting. I remember once I drank some quote non-alcoholic beer, and it was, oh god. I mean, I think regular beer is disgusting for the most part, unless it's like craft or like really really like artisan beer, well done beer. I can handle dark beer too. I'm talking about like light beers. I remember the first time I ever puked from alcohol was Coors Light. And also probably because I had like 3 shots of I had scotch, whiskey, and tequila. And what else? Oh yeah, I puffed on a cigar. Before Coors Light. But I mean, I drank 4 of them so I could get a buzz because they were kind of like mini Coors Light. But I just can't imagine like non-alcoholic beer. It's like not all or at least the one non-alcoholic beer I ever had. It tasted like a Coors Light essentially, but you get no buzz, so it's even worse. Bottle shops. It's like, does that mean you like the taste or whatever? It's like bottle shops such as Spirited Away on the trendy Lower East Side and the Boisson and family-friendly Cobble Hill opened in recent months, offering an ever-growing array of non-alcoholic beers, wines, and spirit. Non-alcoholic spirit? What the hell is that? And it's not just local boutiques behind the trend. Whole Foods Market sells a growing selection of zero-proof products too. Douglas Waters opened Spirited Away in November. He said the zero-proof movement was bubbling under for the past couple years, and the pandemic was like pouring gas on the fire, and the trend exploded. I found it better to deal with life without alcohol on my plate. All right, I guess. Among the offerings at Boisson are alcohol-free Rasavada spirits and flavors like rose bergamot and black ginger. So for a 375 milliliter bottle, which is like, it's like that big of a bottle. It's like what you'd bring if you go camping or whatever. It's what I brought at Fork Fest. I had a tiny bottle of tequila. Hey, take care, man. So $40 for a 375 milliliter bottle. I mean, like I think that's like what, half? For just twice that, I could get a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label, and that's when you know you really fucking made it. Brooklyn journalist Elva Ramirez, author of a new book, Zero Proof, 90 Non-Alcoholic Recipes for Mindful Drinking, said the social disruptions of the past year helped people reassess their relationship with alcohol and that it's easier than ever to feel accepted if you're sober. American social culture is a drinking culture, said Ramirez. We have always been... Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. It didn't used to be, right? It used to be, barbecue cookouts. It used to be, neighborhood get-togethers, 4th of July picnics. It used to be all these nice things, right? Back when we had a high-trust society. And then something happened, after World War II. And society just totally fucking went to, just shit the bed. And now you hear about, like, I remember I saw this, it was this awful headline. It said, like, it was like an anti-gun violence rally in Chicago was ended early by gunfire and stuff. And, like, even when they have, like, peace events in, these, like, major American cities, there's gunfire. I remember it was, like, a CNN camera crew was at George Floyd Plaza or whatever the street was called. And there's a drive-by shooting. Like, one would think this was planned. But yeah, I've been busy this week. I was actually on Concord TV. And oh yeah, that's the other news too. Cheshire TV, of all things, was is not broadcasting to it's actually not broadcasting at all anymore, right? And actually, I don't know if this is something I'd to call in. There's something to call in about. Does anyone actually watch for local community television channel. And I don't know if it's a Northeast thing, but this is a Saturday show. Just miscellaneous. 603-283-6160 if you want to call in. I'm curious though. Is community access television? Actually, it was in Texas, so it can't just be a New England thing. I want to hear about it. We'll be right back.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. All right, so 603-283-6160 if you want to call into the show. I actually finally got calls working from my home setup, right? And they're Telegram calls, and apparently that's how some other people do it. It's not as it's like the interface. I mean, it's much clinkier compared to Pedocord, but I like I prefer the Devil I Know compared to or the app that I know and use compared to compared to Pedocord. Anyone is anyone is dropping that shit. 603-283-6160 if you want to call in. So at first I thought, since at least I believe town hall meetings are obviously they originated in New England because of the unique history here, but like if in a place such as like Sacramento, well actually Sacramento's a city, but like if fucking Moosefuck, Montana has the annual town hall meeting where like a lot could get done, right? Just by a majority vote, a lot could get done. Like you could lower taxes, you could fire people, and I believe that's why the city of Keene is a city and not just a large town, because if there was a town hall, if there was a annual town hall meeting, then all the bullshit that they try and get done will be undone. Like I don't think a cigarette or via tobacco ordinance would have gotten passed if there's an annual town hall meeting. I mean, it would be like a lot of people, because and also there's more ahead of time notice for it. But I was talking about community access television, and that's actually my first job. I worked at for the Upper Valley's cable access channel for like 5 years, ever since I was 15. And I would do the municipal meetings, videography. So I was like a contractor. And so I know a lot about public access. And so the one in here in Keene, Cheshire TV goes dark. And so I'm just going to read this. Cheshire TV has gone off the air after being unable to reach an agreement with Keene, which announced this is not written well, which announced in January that it intended to end its contract with the public access station due to concerns about the actions of CTV's board of directors. In a Sunday Facebook post, Cheshire TV announced that its operating rights agreement and its property lease with the city have both been terminated. As of Monday morning, the station's 2 channels were not showing programming, with channel 1301 showing just a black screen, while channel 1302 showed the message, "From all of us at Cheshire TV, we thank you." It adds, "It has been a pleasure serving the Monadnock region." In the post, CTV confirms both it will no longer be managing content and that public access to the station studio and equipment will no longer be managed by CTV. It remains uncertain. It's all going to Dave. It remains uncertain at this time who or if anyone will carry the torch from here, the post says. Obviously, we are extremely concerned for the future of public access, not just here, but across the nation. I mean, that is true because of cord cutting, and cable access gets money from via franchise fees, right? From like Comcast, for instance. I don't know from whom they get the money. For CTV gets the money. And I think there's so in Vermont, I believe there's like a portion of everyone's Comcast bill goes towards public access, or not Comcast, but cable bill goes to public access. And some of that money goes to the town in order to maintain some sort of public access thing, so people could, basically some sort of video presence for town meetings and stuff, and school board meetings. But in New Hampshire, the town gets all, from my understanding, what was told to me by my boss when I worked for CATV, in New Hampshire, the town gets all of the franchise money and votes on how much money the cable access channel gets.
Right. So if you don't mind,
as
a board member on Cheshire TV for more than a decade, this is interesting. This is news to me. I had not heard this until just now. The franchise fee, they could lower it, right? Like they could lower it and give money essentially back to the taxpayer, right? Like by lowering people's cable bills if they wanted to. But now this is basically the city saying, okay, we're going to take 100% of the franchise fee. Because the way it was they were giving 90% to Cheshire TV and 10% the city was keeping for their own, we need to upgrade our video, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now they're taking 100% and they got black channels. So that's what they're doing.
That's actually pretty representative of the whole country's state right now.
Yeah.
And what happens when you let the government take over something. But it's funny, like in Hanover, it was like, I think the town kept like 80% or they kept a lot. And so they had to have a new manager of CATV go and like grovel before the town. So please give us more of his money. And I wasn't rehired.
That's a good thing you didn't get a job at CTV, because that wouldn't have lasted very long.
No. Oh yeah, I know. And actually I was on Concord TV just yesterday. I was doing Danny's show, the redheaded guy who did the he had the radio show.
The guy, yeah,
Danny. So he's doing a show, his same show on Concord TV, and I go to Concord TV's studio, and it's the nicest studio I've seen for any sort of public access. It's like it looks like the set from Between Two Ferns, like, which is sort of a parody of that kind of stuff. But it was really good. So Concord TV, from my experience, has the best studio in all of New Hampshire. And so anyway, so on Danny's panel, we were talking about Superman. There was another guy, a KSC film student who I knew and I worked with, and actually he features me prominently in his demo reel. Actually, I think I start out his film demo reel for a short film I did for him. I forget how it came up, but he said that he applied for CTV and never heard back from him. And then he referenced the Sentinel article. I'm like, oh my God, you don't even know the half of it, right? And it sucks because so many local businesses and channels and things, and really good. I'm a big proponent of public access television because it's a great tool for the community. It's just a shame that it is honestly a dying medium, because people just aren't. Not only are people not watching cable, they just don't care about town issues, right? Like usually the people who watch it are old people, right? Who don't want to go in person because, they're old or whatever. They don't want to get sick even before the coronavirus. And and they're dying out. So it's the same thing with cable, right? Except with public access cable, it's even sooner, right? It'll die out even sooner. And that's a shame because it's like they give pretty good services. You don't have to go and buy a camera. You could just, I don't know if I don't think they're allowed to charge memberships, or at least, some of the ones I've experienced don't charge money for memberships. And like, if you're a member, if you live in their area of coverage, you could use their equipment for free. So like if you want to do your own like activism or whatever, you could ask ahead of time to borrow their equipment and stuff. You have to sign out. They'll teach you how to edit things and everything. And I think it's a really good thing for community. And they did, and it's interesting. They in order to stay afloat, they're doing what colleges are doing, right? They're trying to find a new demographic, and so they're trying to, notice a lot of them. And that's how I actually found out about public access. When I was a child, there was a video camp, right, where they teach kids how to, use a camera and edit and do things. And so I did, I did the video camp. And actually, in my group, in my team, was the son of Zack Snyder, right? And I actually met him at my graduation, and that's my little story, my little cocktail story or whatever. But anyways, continuing this article here. CTV executive director David Kirkpatrick, who's a total cunt, did not immediately respond to requests for more information. Naturally. In January, following months of outcry from some members of Cheshire TV about the previous board of directors' management of nonprofit public access station, some of the organization's membership voted to oust much of that board. However, the city took issue with some of the new board's actions and announced that it would be terminating its contract in May, as well as pulling the roughly $180,000 per year the city provides to the station, which comes from the cable franchise fees. Swansea, which also has been financially supporting CTV, though to a lesser extent than Keene, also pulled its funding after the board turnover. City manager Elizabeth Dragon has suggested to change CTV's governing documents that would have replaced the existing membership of CTV, people with a stake in the organization who produce content and voted on some CTV business, with more representation from municipalities that fund the organization. So yeah, they want more government control naturally, right? And it's not the municipalities that fund a fucking organization. It's a it's a cable payer, right? And so yeah, this is what happens when the government takes something over. It goes totally to shit. All right, second hour coming up, 603-283-6160. More coming up.
I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
More of Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Border crossings continue. I'm Mary Corsetti, Fox News. Migrants and asylum seekers are continuing to flood the U.S.-Mexico border at a rapid pace. Fox's Aisha Hasni reports from Mission, Texas.
The weather is making the Rio Grande River a little choppy, and just behind me, the U.S. Coast Guard just launched 2 boats to patrol the river. These border crossings, as they continue, could become dangerous sometime today. The president getting some heat for announcing these dedicated dockets, judges that would fast-track these asylum cases for families who are crossing the border now. According to multiple reports, some 60 immigration advocacy groups, though, are complaining about these dockets, saying that they're only going to result in denials and deportations. These groups would rather see the administration just end Title 42 altogether.
And more cities and states are shrugging off lingering COVID-19 restrictions as vaccination rates rise and the number of infections falls. Massachusetts lifted its mask mandate and restrictions on businesses Saturday. In New York City and Chicago, officials reopened public beaches. Other states, including Minnesota, Virginia, and New Jersey, have recently lifted pandemic restrictions as well. It comes as federal health officials say about half the country has received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, travel is ramping up during the Memorial Day weekend.
It's a lot of traffic moving in and out, and this is expected to be the busiest weekend